Happy New Year! So, yeah, this is one of many New Years that happens throughout the year. Everyone has their own cultural New Year. Ours in the West appears to be the seventh day after Christmas Day, which celebrates the third day after the winter solstice. So, 10 days after the winter solstice would mark the New Year for some reason. The way I see it is it should be March. That's the astrological new year, starts halfway through March. That is yeah, okay, I'm a bit biased being in Aries. My Aries hoodie, it's something that I probably would still agree with if I wasn't an Aries. It's something that I think makes the most sense. You've got the sine wave, uh, the equator points at the middle points. That was what you'd consider as the beginning and the end. So I think the sine wave version is one that I am far too biased to be able to give a middle of the road opinion on that one. So New Year's resolutions is about the only thing that I do try and do. I think for me it's quite difficult to stay consistent with things. So something that I like doing is trying to do something every day. So a couple of years ago, I did Wim Hof breathing exercise every day, and I managed to develop quite a decent lung capacity, especially as I'd stopped smoking tobacco. And working in a very dusty environment over the past year has caused it to get a little bit worse. Wearing a mask constantly, then when you're not wearing a mask, you still end up getting dust at different points that are in the air unexpectedly, like nasty glue mixed MDF wood. It's all toxic chemicals and water displacement, fire resistant stuff. Not good for your lungs. I noticed one time when we had a test in there that I wasn't able to do very well when trying the Wim Hof exercise. I wasn't able to get as far. The exercise itself, you do some rapid breathing, deep breathe in and out for a count of 30. Then you breathe out and hold your breath for first 30 seconds, then a minute, then a minute and a half. And there's other things that provide like different breath counts for you to follow along to that go on from a minute and a half to further ones. Like I've seen it go up to 5 minutes. I've personally been able to get to 4 minutes before with lung capacity and being able to still and calm my nervous system. And I noticed because I hadn't done it for a while, it was something that I should try again when this thing came up at the place I was working at, where we were having our lungs tested. And I realized that my lung capacity was nowhere near the same. I struggled to get to the end of the minute and a half. And it's something that I think it did a lot of good, sticking to focusing on something breath-wise every day. It's a bit of a silly notion, the idea of forgetting how to breathe or forgetting to breathe, but that is something that I've always had better experience when I've had deep breaths. And it's hard to get back into that rhythm when everything around you is kind of distracting you and getting you to operate on a different frequency. I think sometimes the breath is important, more important than destination, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to do the Wim Hof breathing exercise, not for the potential release of DMT for people that push it to extremes. I don't push it to extremes for those reasons. I think it's worth just doing what you feel comfortable with. But I'll be aiming to do the beginner's stage, partially because I can listen to the Japanese translation of it and it helps familiarize with the Japanese, or could do the Arabic or something else, that Hebrew or whichever language that I'm trying to get used to hearing the words, because I've heard the instructions in English so many times. Hearing it in another language, it's just quite easy to catch on to what the words are expressing. It's a good way, I think, to get familiar, and it takes your mind a little bit off the breathing. You can remember to breathe deeply and follow along with the rhythm. So I'm gonna see how many days I can get through the year with not forgetting to do the Wim Hof breathing exercise. The time now is like 11, maybe 11:30, and I have not done it yet. So before it hits midnight, I better get that in. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you're having a great New Year so far. Stay tuned for more.